This is a sample lesson from the Kanji Startup Course that I'm going to launch soon. If the course is open for enrollments at the time that you're watching this video, you will see the sign-up link in the description box below. Before we learn our first kanji letter, let me introduce the basics that you need to know about kanji. I'm going to cover these 5 points in this lesson. Point 1. Why do we need kanji in Japanese? Point 2. What are on-yomi and kun-yomi? Point 3. What is furigana? Point 4. What is okurigana? Point 5. How a typical sentence looks with kanji. You can find the timestamps in the Shoma section below. Okay, let's begin with point 1. Why do we need kanji in Japanese when we already have hiragana and katakana? As I explained many times in the past, the functions of hiragana and katakana are different. Hiragana indicates the pronunciation of Japanese origin words. On the other hand, katakana indicates the pronunciation of non-Japanese words, meaning the words that we adapted from other languages. So, hana is written in hiragana, but pizza has to be written in katakana. Now, we already have hiragana to spell the word hana. Then why do we need kanji for hana? The answer is this. Kanji conveys the meaning of the word, but hiragana doesn't. In the example of hana, we actually have more than one word that has the pronunciation of hana. But hiragana doesn't tell us which hana the person meant. Is it flower or nose? We can't tell because hiragana only tells us how to pronounce the word. But in kanji, the meaning is clear since each letter represents a meaning. The first letter hana means flower, and the second hana means nose. This is why kanji is important in Japanese. There are so many Japanese words that happen to share the same pronunciations, but meanings are different, just like hana here. To distinguish those meanings, we need kanji. In English, they do the same thing by spelling. For instance, these two words here share the same pronunciation, there, right? But they mean different things. How do we know? By looking at the spelling. The first one is spelled T-H-E-R-E, but the second one is T-H-E-I-R. Like this, they use different spellings to distinguish different meanings in English. In Japanese, we use different kanji for different meanings. Take a look at this sentence entirely written in hiragana. Since we traditionally don't place any spaces between words in Japanese, a sentence like this is so difficult to read, isn't it? You have ha 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 in the beginning. Like this, without kanji, it's hard to recognize the words in the sentence. But with kanji, the same sentence looks like this. Now, it's a lot easier to spot each word in the sentence, right? As a result, we can quickly understand the meaning of the sentence. Point 2. What are on-yomi and kun-yomi? Most of the time, each Japanese kanji has multiple readings like this. Some are labeled as on-yomi or on-reading. Others are labeled as kun-yomi or kun-reading. Let me explain what these are. According to linguistic scholars, it was around the 5th or 6th century that we first imported kanji from China. Before that, the Japanese language didn't have any letters. However, of course, we already had tons of words in our language. So this is what happened when we imported letters from China. Let's say we got this kanji letter meaning flower. Two things happened. Number one, we applied the Japanese pronunciation for flower, which is hana, to the kanji. Number two, we also imported the original Chinese pronunciation for this kanji letter, which is ka in this case. As a result, this kanji letter ended up having two different readings, hana and ka. And the hana is kun-yomi, and the ka is on-yomi of this kanji. By the way, yomi means reading in Japanese. It came from the verb to read, yomimasu. So kun-yomi refers to the native Japanese pronunciation for the word that we applied to the kanji letter. On the other hand, on-yomi was derived from the original Chinese pronunciation for that letter. On a side note, it is also common that one kanji has multiple on-yomi. This is because in the long history in China, the pronunciation for one kanji letter changed depending on the dynasty or region. And in each era, we have imported different pronunciations for the same kanji letter into Japan. As a result, some Japanese kanji ended up having multiple on-yomi. By the way, in my kanji lessons, I'm going to introduce the readings that are part of the Joyo kanji list only. Joyo kanji refers to the regularly used kanji that are officially announced by the Japanese government. As of 2010, when they updated the list, there are 2,136 kanji on the list. So in my lessons, I'm not going to include the special kanji readings outside of the Joyo kanji list, okay? Since it's going to be too much information for you. In this example here for the kanji 100, I don't include the special reading momo for this kanji because it's not listed in the Joyo kanji list. Point 3. What is Furigana? Now, let me cover a few terms that you need to know when you study kanji. The first one is Furigana. The reading for each kanji is usually provided in hiragana like this, either on top or below the kanji. We do this a lot, especially for young children in Japan who haven't learned many kanji yet. So when you open a Japanese children's book, you will see hiragana readings are provided for all the kanji parts like this. We call this reading assistance Furigana. Furigana. Please remember this term, okay? And in my kanji lessons, I'm going to put Furigana on top of each kanji. Point 4. What is Okurigana? You may also notice that in some cases, hiragana is provided right after the kanji letter to complete the word like this. This hiragana portion is called Okurigana. Okurigana. Please remember this term too. Okurigana is necessary for Japanese verbs, adjectives, and other conjugated words because we need to change the hiragana part for conjugations. Take a look at this example, the verb drink, nomu. This is the plain form or dictionary form of drink. To convert this verb to plain negative form, now we have to change the hiragana part from mu to manai, and we say no manai, nomanai for plain negative form. The same verb in mass form or polite form is no 見ます、飲みます。Again, you have to change the hiragana portion to conjugate this verb to polite form. Like this, the kanji part indicates the meaning of the verb, but the hiragana part indicates the form of the verb. This is the case with most of the Japanese verbs and adjectives. Therefore, the okurigana part has to be in hiragana so that we can change it to conjugate the word. Point 5. How a typical sentence looks with kanji. Take a look at this sentence again. 母は鼻で花の匂いを嗅いだ。This is how a typical Japanese sentence looks with kanji. The hiragana on top of each kanji is furigana. These ones in squares are joshi, the particles. Particles are always in hiragana. The blue parts are okurigana, okurigana. And in case that this sentence was written for an adult, furigana is not going to be provided. I hope you now feel ready to start learning kanji. From the next lesson, I'm going to introduce very basic kanji letters one by one. And for each kanji, on-yomi and kun-yomi are going to be indicated like this. However, the focus of my kanji lessons is going to be kanji words rather than individual kanji letters. There is no point for you to memorize all the on-yomi and kun-yomi if you don't know how to use them in real kanji words. So in this example, rather than memorizing all the readings for this particular kanji, nin, jin, and hito, I want you to study the kanji words that use this kanji like this. いい人、アメリカ人、3人。I will also show you how these words are used in sentences so you can remember each kanji vocabulary in context. This is a sample lesson from my Kanji Startup Course. The course provides a list of 244 kanji words. Each word is provided with Furigana, Okurigana, and English meaning as you can see here. You also get lots of worksheets to practice reading and writing sentences with kanji like this. The course is designed for complete beginners of kanji. It helps you to build your kanji skills from zero. You can find more information about this kanji course below this video. If you see the sign up link in the Shoma section below, the course is open for enrollment. I'm sorry if the course is closed for sign-ups when you are watching this video. In that case, please come visit this lesson again to see if the course is reopened. ではまた次のレッスンで会いましょう。